Africa. The first woman whose mitochondrial DNA is in every single person on the earth was an African woman. So it kind of seems obvious to me that since we are the first people and all of the other people are descendants of our own people, then we have a responsibility and a duty to make this world a better place, to stop this ridiculousness, the violence, the spoiling of the waters and the spoiling of the air, and talking of even worse things like nuclear warfare. Now that's absolutely insanity. We are the only ones that can change that because we are, say for instance, the parents of everyone. So we need to control our unruly children and let them know which way to go. Now, I'm in South Carolina now with the Shrine of the Black Madonna, where I've been since I first got my name back in 1973. But for the past 5 years, I've been in South Carolina, and we have a farm there. And we started collecting nickels, dimes, quarters, donations from everywhere, right, having cakes, bake sales, whatever, trying to raise money to get this farm back in the early 70s. And it was kind of difficult for any of us to conceive or believe that we were actually going to be able to buy a farm. But our founder and holy patriarch, Jeremiah Baby Ogman, he was faithful and he knew that we could do it. He gave us the hope that we would be able to succeed at this. And sure enough, in 1999, we bought a 4,700-acre farm in South Carolina. We bought it from a man that we had tried to buy the farm a couple of years earlier, but what happened was the man that owned it, he had been a descendant of slave masters, and he himself had been a sharecropping he was a sharecropping master, and his people were treated very badly. That's what the people in our little community told us. They said he treated his sharecroppers very badly, and he told our leadership when they came down there that no, we can't sell to you because you people, and that's not the word he used either. He said people like you are supposed to work the land, not own the land. Well, fortunately, a few years later, he's old and fragile, and he died, and his children assumed the farm. And when we went to them, they didn't care what color our skin was. All they cared about was the color of our money. And we gave them the money, and we bought the farm. And the farm is very important. And our leader, Jeremiah, he knew that it was going to be very important because the people we don't have any food worth eating, we don't have any air worth breathing, water worth drinking, and besides we need to be self-sufficient and have schools and factories and everything. So it's important that we have this for ourselves. Otherwise, at the rate the economy is going, it would be very difficult for us to survive no matter what nationality or who you were. So consequently, I wrote this book. The name of the book is A Taste of Africa because, like I said, I started off just making African names and meanings and pronunciations, but it evolved into more. It evolved into proverbs, poetry, because I'm also a poet, and I've written several poetry books, and it has a lot of African history and ancient mysteries in it. Now, near the back of the book, there is a section that you can read, and it talks about where's the 40 acres and the mule. Now, we know that all the peoples that had been mistreated, so far as we know, received some kind of compensation. We did not receive any, even though we were promised 40 acres and a mule. Now, I don't know anybody who told me that anybody they knew ever got 40 acres and a mule or the acres or 1 acre or any animal. So that means we are supposed to have this 40 acres and a mule. So if you want to join this class action suit with us, there's a section in the back of the book that you can peruse and sign in to become a part of that. If anyone wants to ask me any questions, the lines are open now, and the call-in numbers are 313-868-0342, 868-0351, and 868-4336. And before I accept the calls, I would like to inform you that there will be a book signing at the Shrine of the Black Madonna Bookstore and Cultural Center on Livernois and Davison. The address is 13535 Livernois. And that's on the corner of Livernois and Davison. The date is Friday, December the 31st, from 4 to 6 p.m. And everyone is invited to come, and you can meet with me, and you can get autographed copy of the book if you like, and ask me as many more questions as you would like to. So the lines are open now. Well, you know, we were kind of like Moses tried to lead the people out of Egypt because they were slaves and they weren't being treated well. So he said, we're going to go. God wants us to go and get our own promised land flowing with milk and honey. They went all the way there. And when they got all the way there, they sent the spies into the land to see if they were going to, what they were going to have to do in order to get the people to let them come into their own land, their own promised land. The spies came back talking about, oh my goodness, those people are like giants and we're like grasshoppers. We can't compete with them. They have big guns and they're bigger than us. And so to make a long story short, they were filled with a declaration of their own inferiority, and they felt like they could not succeed or be successful in a war, even if they had God on their side. And God was definitely on their side. God had led them all the way there with a pillar of fire by night and giving them manna all day. They just didn't have the faith, though, that they could do it. They were complaining to Moses all along the way. Oh, we should never have left. We should have stayed in Egypt, even though they were being mistreated in Egypt. Their children were being killed in Egypt. They still thought that Egypt was better because they had food to eat and a place to stay, and they didn't have to wander around in the hot desert all day looking for a land. So what happened was God was very angry. Said, okay, you people are going to have to wander another 40 years in the desert because you have the mark of slavery on you. And if you have the mark of slavery on you, you cannot enter the promised land. So I'm saying, okay, I'm looking at my people. We have the mark of slavery. We all do have the mark of slavery. I mean, what else could we have? We've been slaves for the past 400 or 500 years, and we still haven't been able to achieve anything like other people that have had 400 or 500 years to come back in. That's because we're still trying to identify with people who did not want us in the first place, with people who told us that we were nothing in the first place. And we're still trying to be like them and to dress like them, talk like them. And have you noticed that even our children have started acting really crazy, and we're allowing them to do that? We're the adults. And earlier I had said that we're the leaders of the world. God gave us the right and responsibility to be the rulers of this earth. And that includes rulers over all dominion. We had all dominion over the earth. So why are we letting everyone do things that we know are just absolutely insane? I think that we need to take a look at ourselves and take a look at the world. And if you just look around, you'll see that this is not where we want to be. I'm sure you don't think this is where we want to be. Hosea was a prophet, and he said the same thing I'm saying right now, basically. He looked around at the nation, Israel. They were being very disobedient. They were not being faithful to their God or their people. They were not treating their people right. They were stealing from each other. And Hosea said, oh my goodness, this is so terrible. He said, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. That's in Hosea 4:6. And I'm looking around and I'm saying, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Now, in the book, there's even a poem about that. And the poem discusses how we are dying because of a lack of knowledge. I'm going to read just a little portion of it to you. Listen up, sisters. Here's a message for you. Listen up, brothers. It's for you, too. It's a lesson you won't learn in any college. The babies are crying on the streets of our land. The people are dying, some by their own hand, and they're dying for a lack of knowledge. See that old lady push the shopping carts? The look on her face will break your heart. That's a lesson she didn't learn in any college. And look at that young man lying in the doorway, dreaming about Burger King. Have it your way. He's dying for a lack of knowledge. Our leaders say, cut out the aid and welfare. We got ours and we don't want to share. That's a lesson you don't learn in any college. Mothers selling their babies for a bag of dope. But we must follow tradition, says the Pope. We're dying for a lack of knowledge. Well, there's a little more to it, but I'd like to give anyone out there in the audience, in the listening audience, an opportunity to call in if they would like to. And I'd also like to remind everyone that the book signing is going to be held at the Cultural Center on Livernois and Davison, the Shrine of the Black Madonna Bookstore and Cultural Center. It's on Livernois and Davison. The address is 13535 Livernois. The phone number there is 313-491-0777. And if you'd like any more information, you can go to my website for this book. I have several websites too. I'd like to do websites for fun mostly and some for profit. But this website is www.tasteofafrika, and that's Africa spelled with a K, Afrika, tasteofafrika.com. That's www.tasteofafrika.com. And the phone number is 313-587-4820.